Hi, it's me again. Today we're looking at a series of games called Star Realms. Well, it's more like one game with several standalone expansions. These are the three that I own. Let me give you a little backstory on Star Realms. When this game came out, there were several deck builders around, but this one offered things that not many did. Portability, accessibility, and affordability. When this game launched, it was just this little package right here. All the game collected in one box. No collectible things, not tons of expansions. You could just play with what you had here. The game is set up by having your life counters right here. To date, probably still one of the worst uses of life counters I've encountered in a game. You start with 50 health, and you flip these over to turn them into 10s, and then you have these others that are 1s and 5s. I just write it on a sheet of paper. These are very unwieldy and very obnoxious. Each player starts with the same starting deck. You start with... You start with 8 of these scouts and 2 attack cards. The first player generally will start with 3 cards, but for sake of example here, I'll show you what a normal turn will look like. Because after that, you have 5 cards every turn. So, let's say this was my turn right here. These little coins mean money. These little targets mean pew pew, shoot the deck across from you. Now this middle row is called the Shipyard. Here, you can purchase all sorts of different ships and bases. Bases look like this, and have the word Outpost on them, because they're called Outposts and not bases. There's also different colors which represent different factions, and you may wonder, why does that matter? Well, if you'll notice on some of these cards at the bottom, they have a faction symbol and some text. For example, if I play this one by itself, this Machine Cult Missile Mech, I deal 6 damage and may destroy a target base, but if I play another red card, I get to draw a card and play it for free. So, I would have 3 money this turn, which there's only 2 things I could buy. I could buy this base. Now, you may notice this outpost has a silver shield, and this outpost has a black shield. And I can hear you saying, "Hey, what's the difference between the..." I'm glad you asked me. The black outpost means that if you have one of these in front of you, your opponent must attack this before attacking you, the player. However, this does not count if there's a physical altercation. This is only for in-game damage, not any physical or mental damage your opponent may inflict on you. So what do these do? These stay out in front of you between turns, and so that would mean every turn I gain 3 attack. Every time I played a yellow on that turn, I'd gain 4 attack, and they must do 4 points, and if they do damage, then 4 of it must go towards destroying this. With this one, I would gain 1 damage every turn, and it takes 5 to kill it, but you don't have to attack it. There's one more symbol on these, which actually I'll use this card to demonstrate, and it's the trash can symbol. What this means is you can trash this from in front of you or from your hand, and you get immediately what it says here. For example, I would get 3 coins. However, this is out of play for the rest of the game. It may as well be burned, destroyed, disowned, you wrote it out of your will. It won't inherit anything because it's not in the game anymore. So this will change between rounds because people will buy cards and they'll change. But this over here, this Explorer deck is always here. This is a way for if you feel like you're not making enough money or you're falling behind, these only cost 2 coins, and when you play them on your turn, they gain you 2 coins, and if you want to trash them, you can for 2 attack. But let's say I have these 3 scouts, I would probably buy this. This introduces a symbol that I haven't shown you yet. You see this green shield with wings? This is healing. So every time I would play this card, I would get heal 3. In addition, I'd get 2 money. And if I have 2 more bases in play, I draw 2 cards. This doesn't have a special unit bonus though. Also, you'll notice as you play, you'll notice the blues tend to focus on money and healing. These tend to focus on drawing more cards or letting cards do special things. These tend to be trashing cards you don't want from your hand and dealing damage. And the green cards tend to just be do as much damage as you possibly can. So that's the basics of it. So for example, I play this, I buy this, it goes in my discard pile. These also go in my discard pile. I play these, my opponent would take 2 damage, and then they would draw 5 cards. Now you can play cards in whatever order you want, and that makes a difference later, because maybe you want this card to affect this card to affect this card, for example. So they would have a similar turn to me, but they can't afford a lot of stuff, so they'd probably buy this blob wheel, or maybe just buy explorers to start making money early. You know, to get really cool cards like this mech world, which counts as an ally for every faction in the game. So that's it, you keep going until someone's health is down to 0. Like I said, there are expansions here. These are standalone. It's the same game, just different ships with different abilities. Also, there is a, I don't want to say companion game, but there's another game called Hero Realms, which is the same type of game, but it's fantasy themed, so if you like that better, maybe look for that. They also have expansions for these, which adds character cards, which gives you a special ability, like, you know, you're playing as a certain commander that can do certain things. That's already built into Hero Realms. I kind of like the simplicity of this one, and I like the sci-fi theme better. So really, any of these sets, Colony Wars, Frontiers, or just base Star Realms, you cannot go wrong with. Yeah, I recommend it. That is Star Trek: A New Hope.